The John Lebang Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised.
Worldwide and out to the greater universe, you're listening to the John Lebang Show.
Well, last night I stopped into a friend's show for like 40 minutes. Check out the band. I used to be in the band. And just stopped in. I got out for once. I don't normally go out many places, especially on the weekend, especially with this new schedule, because now that I have Saturdays off, it's more of a chill out day than it used to be. And they were all right. You know, I didn't get along with the bassists, or really, you know, the drummer was okay, but he wasn't all that great. Probably shouldn't say that, but you know. They've trolled me many times, so this is a little play for play, I guess. I won't tell you the band name. You can go figure that one out yourself if you want. But, yeah, so I stopped in 40 minutes at best. Watched most of their show. Wanted to make sure my good friend saw that I was there at least. $10 to get in. It was okay, you know. Beer is expensive. It's always expensive at these places. And they have all the fancy lights and everything. That's how they pay for it. You get those fancy lights, and then you can look like you're an actual bar. I'm not a big fan of this venue. Of course, I won't talk about the venue either. But what I wanted to talk about was the atmosphere of the place and the people who go to these events, because, I don't go out very often. But I was just noticing the people that, because it's way different. See, when I was younger, people would do themselves up to go out. You'd look good, you try to look good to go out. What I saw last night is people don't care. There were maybe 3 or 4 ladies in the whole building who might have done themselves up a little bit. Everybody else was just an everyday dressed down. And the guys, I don't know how you ladies do it, because the quality of men that hang out at the bar, or at least this venue, just, I didn't see anything there that would be a benefit to any women. I saw a lot of women with guys, and yeah, you know, you settle for because the guys are nice or whatever, but you look at half of these guys and you wonder, how can they even attract a woman? Because you think a woman would want to have, you know, unless they're not having sexual relations, or a woman just doesn't care about that sort of thing. But I've been around women long enough to know that a great deal of them do care about physical attraction. All you have to do is look on Facebook these days. You know, that's one benefit, I guess, of Facebook, is that you get to see a side of people you don't normally see. Yeah, I mean, you got the fakers out there. My life's great, except their life isn't great. But when you see people posting these memes, women in particular, and I've had to unfollow a great deal of them because I can't believe how vulgar they are and how much they are open about their sexual behavior. Ladies, have some dignity. But when you see the level of gentlemen, to put it nicely, that peruse the bars, maybe everybody's got to just lower their standards for each other, or else you're going to be alone. And God forbid you're alone for any period of time. We have to do things on your own and not have a significant other helping you along the way. I know it makes it a lot easier in a lot of regards when you have someone there for whatever reason you have them there. Some people want companionship. Some it's just pure sexuality, other friendship, deeper ties. Each person has their own level of that with the people they meet or the people they want to get involved with. On the reverse now, as a single guy out there, and I think we talked about it last hour or the hour prior, sometimes these get jumbled together, you know, especially with the current political atmosphere. And please let me say that we will get to that, if that's what you came for, a little bit later on. But I am a little tired of discussing the same old political circus that is happening up in Washington, D.C. and in other political venues. So I don't know, though, as I get back to the bar stories, how a single guy plays in the dating game these days. And because I don't peruse the dating sites, because I'm not looking for anything like that, is it really a good way to find somebody to meet? To look at it? I mean, it's like shopping. But I guess going to the bar, checking out people in person, they used to call that the meat market. So that's shopping in its own right. But I don't know how people do it. Are they more acceptable of lower standards in the opposite sex? Or, let's not offend anybody, these days, the same sex or the trans sex or whatever sex they want to sex. The 40 minutes I was there, because John multitasks on a regular basis. And while I was watching and listening to I was more like listening to the band instead of watching them. Because being in that band, I already knew what the stage show was all about. So just listening to the tunes and people watching. Another thing I've noticed is that there's a lot of people overweight. You hear the studies, you hear the nutritionists and physical therapists and all those people worried about health and fitness discuss it. But when you go out in the world, you start to wow. There are a lot of really fat people. And that goes to the point I was talking earlier. How do people in the dating world deal with this? Everybody's just overweight and that's it? Everybody just has lowered their standards in the dating world? Because it baffles me. The beards are out of hand. Like, guys, groom your beard a little bit, bro. That's all. Groom it. I just did my little goatee. Put my glasses on. I had a revelation because I don't wear glasses very often. And I bought me a pair recently. They were on sale. So I just bought me one of those cheap reader glasses. And when you do grooming, it's good to get a close-up look sometimes. So I was shaving. I put the glasses on. I was like, damn, bro, you're old. See, I liked it better when the glasses weren't on. I took the glasses off. I was like, yeah, you look young and handsome there, John. You look young and handsome. Put them glasses on, and it just like, you could see my wrinkles. You can see like the little hairs, because that's, God likes to do that to you. He moves hair from off the top of your head, and then it moves it on the edge of your nose or in your ear. That's a good one. I don't know why you need hair on your ear, but, in case it gets cold, I guess. I'd rather just wear earmuffs, personally. So, God, if you want to make that genetic change in men, that would be great. Just saying. Maybe mankind will develop some kind of alteration to gene structure that will allow men of the future not to grow hair on their nose or their ears. Hopefully they add in there that they trim their beards and their hair, comb it at least, guys. You see, so many guys don't even comb their hair. They don't even have much hair. Or they're bald these days. They don't even want to comb their hair, so they wear the hat. Because I know when I don't want to wear, or when I don't want to comb my hair, or I don't want to do it up because I've got more hair than most men, and I have to take a little more time, not quite the amount a woman takes to do their hair. I've had women who have had shorter hair than me take longer time to do the hair than I do. But regardless, men do things a little quicker when it comes to hair. Even when you have long hair. Except for those guys in those glam rock bands and those sleaze rock bands. They curl it. Trust me, I know. I used to be in one. Way back in the day, felony. In fact, I've been friended most recently by a couple of those guys in that band on Facebook. I was like, "Oh man, how you doing? Nice to hear you." I haven't heard from them, and holy moly, it's coming up on 30 years or so. And look at me, I've jumbled around, bounced around, and talked about the bar last night, and then I diverted into other little things like facial grooming. But yeah, I didn't want to wear those glasses anymore in front of the mirror, and I'm not gonna. Nope. That ain't gonna happen. So if you're out there listening and you're tuned in and you're in the dating scene, I'd like to know your opinion on how you deal. Have you lowered your standards because you've gotten older, or because people aren't as, let's be honest, folks, I don't think people are as attractive as they used to be. There's a lot of ugly going on out there. In fact, I've talked about it for many years that women, and here's a term I think I dubbed, but maybe I didn't. You don't want to take credit for something you didn't do. But I think for some time now that women have been uglifying themselves. And of course, a lot of people like the tattoos and the nose piercings and the septum rings and the little face, diamonds or whatever they are. And the neck tattoos. I'm not a fan. To me, that's part of that uglification that I'm talking about. And when you go out in public and you see a lot, and it's not just at the bar. Unfortunately, it's at the grocery store, at the paint store, in Home Depot, wherever you go. And there was a time when we tried to, at least a little bit, we attempted to be presentable in public. We'd comb our hair, brush our teeth, shave, wear a clean shirt, just to go out in public, let alone to do something a bit more formal. But these days, in the grocery store, you see people running around in their pajamas because they're too lazy to fix themselves up a little bit, just a little bit, to go out in public. Anyways, folks, we're going to take that first time out. More on the flip side. We're going to discuss random stuff all night. So, you know what? Next segment, we're going to talk, and it's a hot topic on the YouTubes, so I thought I'd get involved because most of the people, and we'll get into that, are missing the boat, and that is preemptive programming. We'll talk about it on the other side of this. Hey, Uncle Shady, where are they going?
Hey, you, get back here. The John Lebang Show will be right back.
Does your house need a paint job, but you don't want to do it? Then call Tom at Quality One Painting. He can handle all of your interior and exterior painting needs. He gives free estimates and senior discounts. Call Tom at Quality One. 313-982-2986. That's 313-982-2986. Quality One Painting. You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
It's better than an eye-reader convention.
And as I teased in the ending of that first segment, I wanted to talk about a subject that is pretty rampant right now on the YouTubes. And there are people, especially one guy from Germany, trying to predict the next 9/11 type event. And they're trying to give you evidence through media and other outlets on what the date's going to be, where it's going to be at. And because I don't want to alarm people, I'm not going to add to the nature of this prediction done by, I think it's led by one gentleman, and then the repeaters have picked it up. And although I know for a fact that preemptive programming does exist, if you read William Cooper's book, or at least turned on the audio version of it, there's a chapter in there called Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. That'll give you a good introductory into preemptive programming. If you've scoured the YouTubes, if you're a part of it, you'll understand at least what event I'm discussing or what event I'm trying to relate to here. Because I don't know. I don't like getting into those kind of predictions. One, if you guess right, for some people are going to be knocking on your door going, "How'd you guess that?" You get it wrong, you look like a plain fool. But what I will tell you is that through my many years of research and study, I myself have seen a pattern of preemptive programming. And I'd like to use a most recent series of movies, one that's at the forefront, or at least has just had a major conclusion to the sphere of all the movies that make up this collage. But I'd like to focus on a particular element of that series. And I'm speaking of the Marvel series, if you don't know, but in particular, the trilogy from Captain America. Captain America, the real enemy, and spoilers if you haven't seen the movie, the real enemy, though, they were Hydra, not the Germans. I mean, Germans were the bad guys, but it was Hydra behind the scenes. And it was patriots and nationalists of the United States that were the ones that were really fighting the German and in secret Hydra forces. Captain America himself was the representation, the embodiment of patriotism and nationalism. And in that movie, he was engineered to fight the Germans, who we know had a secret agency called Hydra, who really did the real work. They were a super secret rogue society deeply embedded inside the German military, intelligentsia, and political agencies. Their goals were not Hitler's goals or Germany's goals, because they had their own agenda. They had their own machinations of world domination. And once their usefulness was over, they infiltrated through invitation their next host to corrupt. You see, they're a symbiote. For you that are unfamiliar with that term, go watch the movie Venom. That'll give you a insight on how a symbiote can corrupt an individual or an organization. Now, they sacrificed not only Hitler, but Germany. When Captain America foiled their plan in his self-sacrifice, this national patriot and his ideas were lost. As we'll see in Captain America the Winter Soldier, part 2 of the trilogy, the new villain are the Russians. And they had produced these assassins in what they called the Winter Soldier program. Mind control assassins who helped shape the course of history. But as we find out, things are not as they appear. Zola, the scientific mind behind Hydra and their ideology, was preserved and stored secretly. You see, the ideology was preserved. This ideology didn't originate in Germany. No, we're going to come to find out that it originated in Switzerland. And that is the home of this incarnation of the secret agenda. And it's bigger and better. Let's take a listen.
Rogers, Stephen, born 1918. Romanov, Natalia Alyanovna, born 1984.
Some kind of recording.
I am not a recording, Fräulein. I may not be the man I was when the captain took me prisoner in 1945, but I am.
You know this thing?
Arnim Zola was a German scientist who worked for the Red Skull. He's been dead for years.
First correction, I am Swiss. Second, look around you. I have never been more alive.
How did you get here?
Invited.
It was Operation Paperclip after World War II. SHIELD recruited German scientists with strategic value.
They thought I could help their cause. I also helped my own.
Operation Paperclip. A side note, if I may. This actually is a operation the United States government partook in. Not only did the United States bring over scientists and people of value, scientific value and engineering value, but the Russians did it. In Russia, they were taken to a newly constructed but isolated scientific facility. These people were housed with Russian scientists. The Germans' job were to write papers on rocket technology and other scientific matters. But through Operation Paperclip, former agents of the Nazis, the Germans, in the case of the movie, Hydra agents, infiltrated the U.S. and Russia.
Accessing archive. Hydra was founded on the belief that humanity could not be trusted with its own freedom. What we did not realize was that if you try to take that freedom, they resist. The war taught us much. Humanity needed to surrender its freedom willingly. After the war, SHIELD was founded, and I was recruited. The new Hydra grew, a beautiful parasite inside S.H.I.E.L.D. For 70 years, Hydra has been secretly feeding crisis, reaping war. And when history did not cooperate, history was changed.
That's impossible. S.H.I.E.L.D. would have stopped you.
Accidents will happen. Hydra created a world so chaotic that humanity is finally ready to sacrifice its freedom to gain its security. Once the purification process is complete, Hydra's new world order will arise. We won, Captain. Your death amounts to the same as your life, a zero sum.
New World Order. In this clip, they couldn't have been more overt about who really runs the world.
As I was saying,
What's on this drive?
Project Insight requires insight. So I wrote an algorithm.
What kind of algorithm? What does it do?
The answer to your question is fascinating. Unfortunately, you shall be too dead to hear it. I am afraid I have been stalling, Captain. Admit it, it's better this way. We are both of us out of time.
Now let's get into Bucky. Bucky is a American who has been controlled by the Russians, or even more precisely, Hydra, who had infiltrated the Russian military and the Russian scientific community. We knew Bucky and Cap were friends because Bucky is really an American, a Russian agent, and he has been controlled since World War II. So Russia was only brought out to be the boogeyman when it served the greater agenda. Now, Black Widow, by the end, reveals most of this. And that's when Captain America defeats the plans of Hydra, which in this case was the deep state. Are you starting to see connections here, folks? And it's the Russians, because it's Black Widow, who hacks the system to expose the deep state, or Hydra. So it's the Russians and the United States who expose it all. And we find out that Captain America could have died in the fight, but the Russian agent saves him at the end. Remember, they were best friends back in World War II. We'll continue this in the next segment, so please stay tuned.
Don't move a muscle.
The John Lebang Show will be right back.
With lots of fun and excitement, yes! Are you in need of commercial or residential window cleaning? Do you need your office cleaned? Maybe custodial work? How about some gutter cleaning? If you do, then call Pane and the Glass. For a beautiful shine that's crystal clear, call Pane and the Glass. You can find them on Facebook at Pane and the Glass.
Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
If you want to contact the John Lebang Show, feel free to send an email to jlebang@live.com. And if you're on Twitter, look him up at John Lebang. And don't forget to go to his Facebook page at The John Lebang Show. Banger. Now here's John.
Now we move on to Captain America Civil War. In the aftermath of the fallout of the deep state being exposed, the world is in chaos, and Captain America's team is crossing borders to fight off the remnants of Hydra and their agents. in what turns out to be a suicide mission for Crossbones, Captain America is nearly taken out when the Scarlet Witch, now think about who she might represent, rushes in to save him, but there's a lot of collateral damage. Soon after that, Bucky, the former Russian agent, is blamed for an attack that sparks a split in the team. It cuts them right in half. The A team is split in half. Now let's look at how the teams were broken up. Captain America, the white nationalist. Falcon, the black patriot. Winter Soldier, the accused Russian agent. Scarlet Witch, let me tell you, she might represent the Ukraine. And Hawkeye, the common man. Versus Iron Man, the tech giant. War Machine, the military-industrial complex. Vision, artificial intelligence. Spider-Man, the millennial. Black Panther, I'll let you figure that one out. And the Black Widow, the double agent, who double crosses them in the end. And as we find out as the movie progresses, that it's Helmut Zemo who concocted this entire plan to split up the team. Helmut Zemo. Now you can go into the Marvel database and look him up. Agent of the Sokovian military, if I do recall. Sokovia. Same place as the Scarlet Witch. Takes the Hydra secrets and frames Bucky Barnes in the database over there at Marvel, which I was alluding to, and I somehow got diverted for a moment. He was a member of Hydra. Also a member of the Thunderbolts. In fact, the leader. A vigilante group of sorts. Didn't get along with Captain America at all. But I guess where I'm going with this is the first two Captain America movies was an interesting preemptive programming scenario, if you were to go that far. Because they went from German bad guys, and then Russia was the bad guys. Well after the Cold War happened, folks. And then soon after that movie, the Russians were the bad guys, being accused of being the bad guys. That's not the only place that we saw that. You could go back to 24 when the Russians were involved there. It switched from the terrorist to the Russians. You see, it was time for the Russians to be the bad guy again. And for some coincidental reason, media, the movies, television shows, tended to make Russia the focus of being the bad guy. Now, I'm not saying Russia's a good country at all. Not saying that. But when we're at the place we're at, where things are so heated, if you take out the captain, we're not that far from America being in a civil war. And if you look at all the elements of the three movies combined, one could suggest, one could theory craft that it was all predictive programming and we've been put on a course to have a civil war. And since the deep state is being exposed little by little, and the Russians are being blamed, and Captain America, well, the nationalism, the patriotism is being rekindled. You see, all that came alive when Captain America came back. And that all happened during the exposure. See, that nationalism exposed the deep state. But it didn't kill it. No. Almost like they wanted to be exposed. So they told you through movies. Now you can believe that. You don't have to believe that. But where I was going with this is there's a lot of people trying to predict things out there. And although I'm not into those predicting things, because I've done a little bit in the past, and when you get it wrong, you get a little heat for it. And most of the time, when you're searching for something, you're going to find it, whether it's true or not. If you want to find something, you'll almost make it happen. Kind of reminds me of the Trump impeachment and the Russia probe and this and that, and all the players are falling into place. Very similar to the story of Captain America as portrayed by the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And that doesn't bode well, because what happens to Captain America and the team, the united superhero or superpowers, the united superpower called the Avengers, they were no longer united. When the ones who were in the shadows the whole time, well, they tried to topple you once before, and they realized, they couldn't do it the way they did it. So they came another way. Then when that Thanos figure shows up, ain't going to be much we can do about it, because we're going to not be on the same page, and we're not going to recognize that danger when it happens. I think we'll go to break right now. When we get back, our final segment, we'll talk about things that are in the news, and if I can stomach it, we'll do another The Days of Our Lives, but we might hold that off till the next hour. Be right back, folks.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
Because the John Lebang Show will be right back.
After this.
That's guaranteed. Yes.
At Absolute Skin and Body Care, they only use the best laser equipment in the industry so that you receive the best results possible. They'll explain all the procedures in detail and answer all of your questions. Absolute Skin and Body Care. If you're looking for skin rejuvenation, laser lipo, or laser hair removal, call Absolute Skin and Body Care. They're located at 37625 Ann Arbor Road, Suite 105 in Livonia, Michigan. Absolute Skin and Body Care. Their office phone numbers are 248-305-3000. That's 248-305-3000. Absolute Skin and Body Care. You're listening to the John Lebang Show. It's huge. Now I got to tweet about it.
Just to touch on a news item that just randomly popped up as I was talking about this, so I thought it was very interesting, and I thought I'd bring it up to you. Neighbors turn enemies over Trump and swing vote Michigan suburbs. So this is a hometown story. Tensions run so high that nobody on the street displays a political yard sign anymore, says one of the owners. He's a steel worker who voted for the Trumpster in 2016. He said he's sick and tired of the Democrats bitching and moaning, and that the impeachment probe of Trump makes him want to fight harder for the president. We're going to get to some sound bites on that. Now, a few doors up from this guy sits a woman who cannot stand Donald Trump. She says she wished he'd be impeached a long time ago. She's a 39-year-old woman who is currently unemployed. Yeah, okay. Technically, the state of Michigan is a crucial battleground state for the old Donald. You know, he carried that by about 11,000 votes. See, that was the popular vote, you dummies out there. We had a popular vote in Michigan, and that popular vote said, we want Donald Trump by 11,000 votes. Like it or not. Why nobody else argues it that way, I don't understand. When you hear this popular vote BS crap, why the people opposing the popular vote don't point out that you already have it in your state. If you don't like the way your state votes, move your derriere to a state that is more to your liking. Another, maybe a related story, but kind of. A record 32 million Hispanics ready to vote in largest minority in 2020. Now, the percentages of Hispanics eligible to vote in the upcoming 2020 election has surged nearly 20% since 2016. Now, wait a minute. Have we let that many legal immigrants in from Hispanic countries? I don't think, under Donald Trump, are there that many legal people who can vote, who have gone through the process of being here legally so they can actually vote? Or is that people who are illegal having the opportunity to vote when they shouldn't have that opportunity? They should, in my humble opinion, take that vote of theirs and go back to the country that they're from and fix their country, not come here to change our country by breaking in illegally and then finding a way to vote. Hillary Clinton in 2016 took 66% of the Latino vote. The Pew Research Center said that there are a record 32 million Latinos eligible to vote in 2020. That is an increase, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to this, of 27.3 million. Where did they come from? Where did they come from? Is that how many people were legally allowed to come into this country? And if it isn't, why are people who broke the law, who aren't supposed to be here, allowed to be a potential voter and eligible to vote? Now, you don't think that is going to change the election process in this country? When you can just import a bunch of people from somewhere else, legal or not, who have barely any historical understanding of this country as far as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. And a lot of them are coming here to get freebies. Couple more things before we get to a few sound bites. Mind reading technology is everyone's next big security nightmare. Technology allowing our thoughts and feelings to be translated into a digital form and shared is already a reality. Brain-computer interfaces, or BCI, allow us to connect our minds to computers for some limited purposes. The big tech companies, including Facebook, we'll just call all the big tech companies for reasons of expediency. We'll just call them all Vision. How's that? Vision want to make tech the main focus of the future as far as AI tech is concerned. There's a companion story to this because voice AI systems will be everywhere and phones will disappear in 10 years. That's what they're saying. So everywhere you go, let me explain that, ladies and gentlemen. That is straight out of 1984. Big Brother will be in everybody's home in 10 years. That is what the mainstream malpractice media might be actually telling you the truth here. That is what they're saying. You know what? The average person is just going to let it happen because it's a lot easier to have that stuff all at your fingertips, have somebody else do it. Most people are too lazy. Like I said earlier, when you go to the bar and you look at the people, you realize they don't get too much exercise. They do a lot of drinking and smoking and partying. They probably watch movies and video games, but ain't many of them getting a lot of exercise.
Last week on The Days of Our Lives.
Even after all you have seen, ISIS prisoners freed, all the humanitarian disaster, you don't have any regret for giving Erdogan the green light to invade?
I didn't give him a green light. You're going to hear the president say we walked out. We were offended deeply by his treatment of the Speaker of the House of Representatives. The president, in my view, has created a crisis in the Middle East.
Nearly 3 years ago, Donald Trump came to office and he promised peace and prosperity for America. And this he has delivered.
The more America achieves, the more hateful and enraged these crazy Democrats become.
Now, the continuation.
I have a few clips that I wanted to play from a recent Donald Trump rally. It's a little scary if you ask me.
You know, I really don't believe anymore that they love our country. I don't believe it.
Now, do you hear those people? And I don't blame them because they like the guy. He seems to be a likable fella. I don't see why the Democrats don't like him, but he seems to be a likable fella. And as long as you don't get on his bad side, he ain't going to tweet anything bad about you. But we're so close. You can see that we already have fanatics on the left side of the aisle. Now let's hear Trump as he calls Crazy Nancy what she is.
Crazy Nancy.
And listen to the crowd.
That crazy Nancy, she is crazy. And Shifty Schiff, how about this guy? How about this guy?
Do you hear that? These people love him. What do you think is going to happen if they find a way to successfully impeach the guy? You see, he has rallies like this every day. And it's scary because Hitler had these same kind of rallies too. Trump's a little more calm about his demeanor. And he makes jokes instead of threatening accusations and wild screaming as Hitler did. And I'm not calling Trump Hitler at all. Like I said, he's a likable guy. But when you get so many people that are galvanized behind him, and when there's a opposition party who clearly knows that if they take him out.
I'll tell you what, we have rebuilt our military. What we've done has never been done before.
But they've got us worked up into that. We're really close to that civil war. And all it's going to take is an impeachment for the people who are galvanized behind Donald Trump to raise a fuss.
The do-nothing Democrats have betrayed our country, and that great betrayal is over. We are finally again, and we've been doing it now for almost 3 years. Can you believe we've been doing this for 3 years?
But on the other hand, all it is going to take is another Donald Trump election to send the other side into a frenzy. They're already there. They're ready to lose their minds at any moment. And we can blame the media, the Democrats, their followers. They have created this monster that we know as Trump. We heard from the report from Project Veritas that the owner of CNN wants them to only focus on Trump, 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 Trump. It's a coordinated effort to keep his name in the spotlight. He's the biggest name, maybe in the history of the world. At least media-wise, more people will have known of Trump in the future than probably any other person in history. All because the mainstream malpractice media, the Democrats, Trump himself, everybody continues to talk Trump. Now listen as he talks to the crowd one more time. But focus on the people, the crowd.
I've been a politician for 3 years. I can't believe that. I never thought I'd be called the politician. I don't like it, but it is what it is. But we're finally, again, putting America first.
Do you hear that passion, folks? Do you hear that passion? What is going to happen to those people if they find a way, if they succeed in taking out Donald Trump? What are those people going to think? You're going to have a great deal of people who are going to feel disenfranchised. And again, on the other side of the coin, the Democrats, the media, all of their cohorts have got their followers and the Trump haters in a fever pitch. And Trump isn't helping himself with the Syrian thing and the G6 summit where it's at his hotel and now it isn't at his hotel. The whole world's a stage and we're just watching it play out, folks. And unfortunately, they want an action movie. Instead of just a drama, it looks like we're headed for an action movie. Maybe even a war movie.
If they didn't hate our country, they wouldn't be doing this to our country. They wouldn't be doing it because they know better. They know better. As an example, we're building a great wall along the southern border. And it's going up rapidly. Going up.
And with that being said, we're going to get on out of here, folks. Thank you for joining me yet again for this hour of the John LeBang Show. I'd like to thank all of my affiliate stations for carrying the John LeBang Show. Don't forget to go to the website, www.jlebang.com. And until the vibrations of my vocal cords reach your ears again, I'm John LeBang, thanking you for listening, and we'll see you next time, right here from the Banger Studios.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. Tune in again next week. Same time, same space, same station.
Resistance is futile.
Fans, do you need a video for your brand new song? Don't have a lot of money? Then contact John LeBang. His reasonable rates, professional look, and fast turnarounds will help get that song off the ground. Contact him at jlebang.com.
Check out the new book from Derek Shelmerdine,
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It tells the story of rock and roll from its roots right up until the mid-70s punk.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Not just the music, but also the events that shaped the music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It includes the backgrounds to recording sessions, singles, album releases, births and deaths, epic concerts, and festivals.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Shelmerdine has made a painstaking effort to document pretty much every event that would prove significant in shaping popular music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Purchase the book at www.rockandrollunraveled.com. Follow him at Twitter at R&R Unraveled and look him up on Facebook at Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
By author Derek Shelmerdine.
Available now.
Quality One Painting. For interior and exterior painting needs, call Tom at Quality One, 313-982-2986. Tom will give you free estimates, senior discounts, and I can tell you from meeting the gentleman, he's one of the nicest guys on the face of the planet. So for a quality paint job with a professional attitude, call Tom at Quality One Painting. That's 313-982-2986. 313-982-2986. Quality One Painting.
You know, if you're getting married soon and you need good entertainment, you need to contact John LeBang. He's got 30 years of experience of wedding entertainment under his belt, and there is no one better and no one cheaper. He's running a special to the end of the year, $500 for your wedding if you book now. Contact John LeBang by email at jlebang@live.com or go to his website. That's www.jlebang.com.
Pane in the Glass, commercial and residential window cleaning. For a beautiful sparkling shine that's crystal clear, call Pane in the Glass Window Cleaning. You can find them on Facebook at Pane in the Glass.
Powerful, epic music by Toothbox Row. Life-changing lyrics come in every style, empowering humanity to finally unlock the chains of bondage. Experience the edgy side of positive music and rock your world today. From Primal to Divine, available now at sassyalternativemusic.com.